A Doll's House, Act 3, next scene, Helmer and Nora. Helmer. Emptying the letter box. It is quite full. There will be no room to put the newspaper tomorrow morning. Nora. Are you going to work tonight? You know quite well I'm not. What is this? Someone has been at the lock? At the lock? Yes, someone has. What can it mean? I should never have thought the maid. Here is a broken hairpin. Nora, it is one of yours. Then it must have been the children. Then you must get them out of those ways. There, at last I've got it open. Takes out the contents of the letterbox and calls to the kitchen. Helen, put out the light over the front door. Goes back into the room and shuts the door into the hall. He holds out a handful of letters. Look at that. Look what a heap of them there are. Turning them over. What on earth is that? At the window. The letter. No, Torvald, no. 2 cards of Ranks? Of Dr. Ranks? Dr. Rank. They were on the top. He must have put them in when he went out. Is there anything written on them? There is a black cross over the name. Look here, what an uncomfortable idea. It looks as if he were announcing his own death. It is just what he is doing. What? Do you know anything about it? Has he said anything to you? Yes, he told me when the cards came it would be his leaving taking time from us. He means shut himself up and die. My poor old friend. Certainly, I knew we should not have him very long with us, but so soon? And so he hides away like a wounded animal? If it has to happen, it is best should it be without a word. Don't you think so, Torvald? He had grown so into our lives. I can't think of him having gone out of them. He, with his sufferings and his loneliness, was like a cloudy background to our sunlit happiness. Well, perhaps it is best so, for him anyway. And perhaps for us too, Nora? We too are thrown quite upon each other now? He puts his arms around her. My darling wife, I don't feel as if I could hold you tight enough. Do you know, Nora, I have often wished that you might be threatened by some great danger so that I might risk my life's blood and everything for your sake. Nora disengages herself and says firmly and decidingly, You must read your letters, Torvald. No, not tonight. I want to be with you, my darling wife. With the thought of your friend's death? You are right. It has affected us both. Something ugly has come between us. The thought of the horrors of death, we must try and rid our minds of it. Until then, we will go each to our own room. Good night, Torvald. Good night. Kissing her on the forehead. Good night, my sweet little singing bird. Sleep sound, Nora. Now I will read my letters through. He takes his letters and goes into his room, shutting the door after him. Nora gropes distractedly about, seizes Helmer's domino, throws it around her while she says in a quick, hoarse, spasmodic whisper, Never to see him again. Never, never. Puts her shawl over her shoulder. Never to see my children again either. Never again. Never, never. Ah. The icy black water, the unfathomable depths. If only it were over. He has got it now. Now he's reading it. Goodbye, Torvald and my children. She is about to rush out through the hall when Helmer opens his door hurriedly and stands with an open letter in his hand. Nora. What is this? Do you know what is in this letter? Yes, I know. Let me go. Let me go out. Where are you going? You shan't save me, Torvald. True? Is this true that I read here? Horrible! No, it is impossible that it can be true. It is true. I have loved you above everything else in the world. Oh, don't let us have any silly excuses. Torvald, miserable creature, what have you done? Let me go. You shall not suffer for my sake. You shall not take it upon yourself. No tragic airs, please. Locks the hall door. Here you shall stay and give me an explanation. Do you understand what you have done? Answer me. Do you understand what you have done? Looks steadily at him and says with a growing look of coldness in her face, Yes. Now I'm beginning to understand thoroughly. Walking about the room. What a horrible awakening! All these 8 years? She, who was my pride and joy, a hypocrite? A liar? Worse, a criminal? The unutterable ugliness of it all. For shame, for shame. Nora is silent and looks steadily at him. He stops in front of her to have suspected that something of this sort of thing would happen. I ought to have foreseen it. All your father's wants of principle be silent? All your father's want of principle has come out in you? No religion, no morality, no sense of duty? How am I punished for having winked at what he did? I did it for your sake. And this is how you repay me? Yes, that's just it. Now you have destroyed all of my happiness. You have ruined all of my future. It is horrible to think of. I am in the power of an unscrupulous man. He can do what he likes with me, ask anything he likes of me, give me any orders he pleases. I dare not refuse, and I must sink in such miserable deaths because of a thoughtless woman. When I am out of the way, you will be free. No fine speeches, please. Your father had always plenty of those too. What good would it be for me if you were out of the way, as you say? Not the slightest. He can make the affair known everywhere, as if he does. I may be falsely suspected of having been a party to your criminal action. Very likely people will think I was behind it all, and it was I who prompted you. And I have to thank you for all of this? You whom I have cherished during the whole of my married life? Do you understand now what it is you have done for me? Yes. It is incredible that I can't take it in, but must come to some understanding. Take off your shawl. Take it off, I tell you. I must try and appease him some way or another. The matter must be hushed up at any cost. And as for you and me, it must appear as if everything between us were just as before, but naturally only in the eyes of the world. You will still remain in my house, that is a matter of course, but I shall not allow you to bring up the children. To think I should have obliged to say to one whom I have loved so dearly and whom I still... No, that is over. From this moment, happiness is not the question. All that concerns us is to save the remains, the fragments, the appearance. A ring is heard at the front bell. What is that? So late? Can the worst? Can he? Hide yourself, Nora. Say you are ill. Nora stands motionless, and Helmar goes and unlocks the hall door. A letter for the mistress. Give it to me. Takes the letter and shuts the door. Yes, it is from him. You shall not have it. I will read it myself. Yes, read it. Helmar standing by the lamp. I scarcely have the courage to do it. It may mean ruin for both of us. No, I must know. He tears open the letter, runs his eyes over the first few lines, looks at a paper enclosed, and gives a shout of joy. Nora! She looks at him questionably. Nora! No, I must read it once again. Yes, it is true. I am saved. Nora, I am saved. And I? You two, of course. We're both saved, both you and I. Look, he sends you your bond back. He says he regrets and repents that a happy change in his life. Never mind what he says. We are saved, Nora. No one can do anything to you. Oh, Nora, Nora, no, first I must destroy these hateful things. Let me see. Takes a look at the bond. No, no, I won't look at it. The whole thing shall be put out of a bad dream to me. Tears up the bond and both letters, throws them all into the stove and watches them burn. There, now it doesn't exist any longer. He says that Christmas Eve these must have been 3 dreadful days for you, Nora. I fought a hard fight these 3 days and suffered agonies and seen no way out, but no, we won't call any of the horrors to mind. You don't seem to realize that it's all over. What is this? Such a cold, set face? My poor little Nora? I quite understand you don't feel as if you could believe that I have forgiven you, but it is true, Nora. I swear it. I have forgiven you everything. I know what you did. You did out of love for me. That is true. You have loved me as a wife ought to love a husband, only you have not sufficient knowledge to judge of the means you used. But do you suppose you are any less dear to me because you don't understand how to act on your own responsibility? No, no. Only lean on me. I will advise you and direct you. I should not be the man if womanly helplessness did not uh, give you a double attractiveness in my eyes. You must not think any more about the hard things. I said in my first moment of consternation, when I thought everything was going to overwhelm me, I have forgiven you, Nora. I swear to you, I have forgiven you. Thank you for your forgiveness. She goes out through the hall to the right. Don't go. What are you doing in there? Taking off my fancy dress. Yes, do. Try and calm yourself and make your mind easy again. My frightened little singing bird, be at rest and feel secure. I have broad wings to shelter you under. How warm and cozy our home is, Nora. Here is shelter for you. Here I will protect you like a hunted dove, and I have saved from the hawk's claw. I will bring peace to your poor beating heart. It will come, little by little, Nora. Believe me. Tomorrow morning you will look upon it all quite differently. Soon everything will be just as it were before. Very soon you won't need me to assure you that I have forgiven you. You yourself will feel the certainty I have done so. Can you suppose I should never think of such a thing as repudiating you or even reproaching you? You have no idea what a true man's heart is like, Nora. There is something so indescribably sweet and satisfying to a man in the knowledge that he has forgiven his wife, forgiven her freely, with all of his heart. It seems as if that had made her, as it were, doubly his own. He has given her a new life, so to speak, and she has in her way become both wife and a child to him. So you shall be for me after this, my little scared, helpless darling. Have no anxiety about anything, Nora. Only be frank and open with me. I will serve as will and conscience both to you. What is this? Not gone to bed? Have you changed your things? Nora, in everyday dress. Yes, Torvald, I have changed my things now. But what for? So late as this? I shall not sleep tonight. But my dear Nora, looking at her watch, it is not so very late. Sit down, Torvald. You and I have much to say to one another. She sits down at one side of the table. Nora, what is this? This cold, set face? Sit down. It will take some time. I have a lot to talk over with you.